For anybody that's here already, hello. Hope your day is going well. I just wanted to go ahead and get into the message today about, remembering to keep showing up for yourself. I know life can be really crazy and have so many things thrown at us on a day to day basis. And it's easy to want to just break down and give up on certain things or endeavors or your hobbies or whatever it is that you're working on. But we got to remember to keep showing up for ourselves. I know, shoot, I forget to do things, or sometimes am stretched in so many different directions trying to work on so many different things all at once that sometimes I don't do anything at all. And I think it's called analysis paralysis or whatever, where you sit around ruminating and thinking about all the things that you got to do, and then ultimately just decide not to do anything. And I know for me, that pretty much just comes down to like any like paperwork or like exercise sometimes, most of the time, if I'm being completely honest, because I like fitness now, but I it wasn't always that way for me. But I definitely have learned to give myself grace. And I want to encourage you all to do the same. Like whatever it is that you're personally struggling with, just remember to keep showing up. If you got to take a day or two, week or two, month or two, whatever it is that you got to take off, then do that. And then just get right back on that horse and keep going, because life goes on. Like, even when we have things happening all around us, we got to keep moving on. Um, I'm the queen of, falling on my face and getting right back up. Like, I might, I might fall time and time again, but I always get right back up every time. Um, and that's just how you build resilience. That's how you show the world. That's how you show, others that no matter what you're going through, you're going to always show up for you. You're going to always have your back at the end of the day, because in the grand scheme of things, that's pretty much all some people have is themselves. They don't have anyone else to fall back on. I know I count myself blessed. I actually do, but even even with that, that's to a certain extent, because you don't want to overwhelm or overburden others with your issues or problems, or at least speaking for myself, that's how I tend to be. Uh, Essentially, people not checking in on the strong friend. I do consider myself the strong friend, where I'll typically grunt and bear through a lot of things on my own, simply because I don't want to ask for help, or I don't want to burden no one else with my issues or my problems. But there is a time where sometimes you need to have someone else to, kind of help rein you back in, or to stand up for you and to advocate for you when you can't for yourself. But checking in, it just means that you recognize when you need that help, you need that other person or counterpart to tap you out, so you can take the reprieve that you need to regather your thoughts, to come back to yourself, so that way you can, come back bigger, stronger, and just handle things like a boss, like you need to. Um, I know, like I said, speaking for me, my personal experiences this, past couple of weeks, um, ain't been too good, but I've been doing my best to bear through it. Of course, I done had my couple of rants here and there. That's typical at this point. I swear I'm like having at least a rant or two a week at this point. But honestly, what's the alternative? Going and busting heads or what? So I'm in the place where it's like I gotta laugh to kind of get through a lot of it. But I know in the end it's gonna work out. Like, it's gonna be fine. It just seems that way right now. It seems like it's sucking right now, but it's all about perception. As long as we keep showing up for ourselves, we can never lose. We can never, ultimately fail. You only fail if you stop trying. And that's the thing about me. I don't stop trying. I'm a very determined person. Like, when there's something that I know I need to get done or want to do, or have my, time, money, hobbies, passions invested in, I'm going to make sure I get it done. Doesn't matter how long it takes me. Eventually I will get it done. Um, and I just here to kind of be that that cheerleader for you guys this week. If you needed to pick me up, I mean, it is hump day, so And I definitely am feeling the hump this week, more than I do usually. I don't usually feel so, bogged down. Uh, most of the time, I'm in pretty good spirits and stuff like that. But I know that we just got, every different type of thing going on in our personal lives, and I know, again, I can only speak for myself and what I'm dealing with. But I hope with you guys, I hope that your week is going well. If it isn't, I hope it gets better. If you really try hard enough, you'll see that it will pass. Like, it doesn't matter where, no matter where you are, no matter what you're dealing with, you're gonna get through it. I don't care if you got to cuss a motherfucker out a couple times a week. If that's how you got to get through it, then that's how you get through it. Like, you do what you got to do, because this world is evil. The people in it, they right up there with it. So it's like, you got to protect your peace, like it's your life. Like, because anywhere you look right now, it's like any and everything is trying to, even if it's on like a spiritual, get your energy, play with your spirit, play. But you just got to keep being the boss that you are, and reminding yourself that you're going to get through it, just like you've gotten through other things in the past that you may not have realized that you would be able to get through, but you got through it. And I know I have to keep reminding myself of that too, um, because it's really easy to forget all of the tough stuff that you came through. It's easy to forget when you're in the time of plenty, or when things are looking good, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, stuff happens, and then you're stuck in that cycle again of self-doubt, um or just feeling down on yourself, and you know indulging in negative self-talk and all that, and it doesn't serve anyone. Um it doesn't work out. So you got to remember that whatever you're encountering, it will pass. It will clear up. People will lose interest, because again, we live in a world where people's attention span is about this long. So so eventually they'll move on. People always get what's coming to them in the end of the day, and there's not much else you got to do. That's why I said, like, with me, I definitely feel like I've been a bit more distracted most of this week with shenanigans, but I'm trying to refocus and recenter myself and remind myself that it doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, if I don't catch them, somebody gonna catch them. Somebody gonna get caught up of their own stupidity. So, in the grand scheme of things, I know that it's just supposed to be attempts to bring me down, but if anything, it just helps me ascend higher, to higher heights. Something I can learn from, something I can grow from also. And that's kind of how you got to look at your obstacles when they come up. Just take it as, okay, it's going to be something I'm going to grow from, something that might suck in the moment, but I will get through it. And, of course, showing up for yourself, self care is still very vital, still very important. And I know I too find myself getting off my self care routines. Because again, stuff happens, but let me be that little voice, like, to tell you, hey, if you haven't done something for yourself this week, go ahead and do something for yourself special. Whether that's taking a little nice bubble bath, or going to get a glass of wine, or whatever it is that you personally like to do that helps calm your spirits. Do that. Shoot, do it a couple times a week if you need to. Honestly, I feel like I'm gonna have to start employing something on a daily at this point, because it just seems like, no matter how hard I try to keep my focus on the main things, like, there's always something that comes up that's trying to, like, take me off course. And of course, with self-care, when you're in a restful, in a peaceful state of mind, you're less likely to be drug off into that oblivion, or that dark hole of shenanigans, that people might try to put you in or pull you into. And just remembering and realizing that a lot of this stuff is just that. It's just to tug at your energy. It's just to throw you off track, to keep you from reaching your goals that you've set out for yourself. And I remember when I used to attend church, my minister at the time, he used to make a statement that I recognized was so true, saying that, if you don't have people coming at you, you're not doing something right. And I'm like, dang, it didn't really hold much weight with me then, because I didn't really consider myself to be a person that had enemies, or people just blatantly sitting around at a in the dark rows. Okay, how can we mess up Ashley's day to day? Like, I didn't see myself as needing to hold on to that little quote or saying or whatever. But now, like, I relish that statement because it's so true. Like, that's how you can really measure how much you're moving up in ranks. Maybe even not from the physical, tangible standpoint, but from a spiritual standpoint, you can really recognize how you're moving up, when you got everybody and their mama seemingly trying to get a piece of you. And I have never been a person that like to be thrust into the spotlight. Contrary to me being on YouTube now, it's not even for that, but I had to recognize I had to stop being scared to be in the spotlight, because there are some people that need to hear what I have to say, because it might encourage them. And that's how I feel like if I could just help one person, I've done my part, I've done my job. And I know that there's a lot of people out there like myself who don't, or not like myself, excuse me, who may not have a wise person or an elder or whatever or whomever they can go to kind of just lean their shoulder on and just air out their grievances or get out their frustration. So I'm kind of trying to be, I don't know, I guess I say big sis, like, hey, you can talk to me, I'm here, I'll listen. But I just want to remind everyone that you're doing just fine. Like, if you're experiencing extra attacks, it's for a reason. Things are ramping up in a way where stuff is getting more real. It's getting more real, and we got to do our best not to fall into the trap of letting these people, energies, whatever you want to call it, nefarious supervillains, whatever you want to call it. We got to get back into the realm of not letting these people or things or entities or whatever take us off the mark, take our eyes off the prize. And like I said, like I stated earlier, I know I am always mentally in like 1,000 places at once. Like, I'm always feel like I'm trying to either combat stuff, or I'm trying to get ahead of certain things, or I'm trying to organize things for a future date or future endeavors. And it can be easy for me to get distracted when shenanigans happen sometime, because I just, it's kind of, excuse me, it's kind of jarring, and it kind of like snaps me out of my little, what I like to call my productive trance that I'm in of getting all these things done. But then I recognize that sometimes it's necessary. Like, I actually am grateful for when those shenanigans pop off, because that's kind of what I need to kind of like help me refocus. Like, okay, you've been focused on this stuff way too long. Let's do something to shake it up a little bit. And so when stuff like that does happen, I'm like, oh, and then my mind goes all on that. But then I pull back and I'm like, you know what? Like, I see what you're doing. I understand what's happening. And I might participate initially, but then eventually I pull myself back, because I recognize it's not enough to hold my attention. Number one. Number two, that it too will pass. And that's literally the game, is to just draw my attention away from what I'm working on. And like I said, sometimes that can be a good thing. Sometimes there could be things I could be putting myself in a rabbit hole about, and I just need that something to happen so I can kind of wake myself up and remember that, you can't be so rigid with your schedules and your things. And I know for me, that's really easy. Like I said, I spend majority of my time in the home, and that's, by choice. It's not necessarily because I'm hiding from anyone or anything like that. I'm in a place with my peace that is very important to me, and it's where I tend to be able to recharge my batteries. And same thing with my family members. So, this is where we are most of the time. This is where we like to be. Except for when we need to go out, we go out, we do what we need to do, and we come back home. Like, it's, just too many things that, you just really don't want to be around. And that's just me. But I recognize that not everyone shares the type of lifestyle or has a lifestyle like I have. And, you might be required to go out a little more every day for work or school or whatever. And I know it may not be as easy to just kind of disassociate or disconnect yourself from certain spaces or people or whatever, but wherever you can, do so. Like, don't allow being in those spaces to make you feel like, oh, I gotta tolerate this. Like, no, you don't. And that's how you're showing up for yourself. You're letting those people know, or wherever you're going, just like, no, I'm not gonna, just because you present this to me and tell me this is all I got, that's never all you have. You can always walk away. You can always, say, what, I'm not going to do this today. And go on. And like I said, going back to the self-care, if you keep up with your self-care routines, you'll be less likely to allow yourself to get sucked into those energy cycling sessions anyway. And that's why, for me, I recognize that that's when that stuff tends to pop up the most, is when I haven't been taking care of myself the way that I need to. So it's important to stay on top of that. But yeah, not gonna lie to you guys, I kind of had like hit a, trying to think, like a mental roadblock or mental block with video ideas. I mean, I know there are some things that are, I'm trying to get myself worked out to put it together, like how I'm still brainstorming. There we go. I'm still brainstorming how I want to put certain things together for the channel. And like I said, I'm trying to refocus on the channel, more of the positive stuff. It doesn't mean it's, gonna always just be positive, 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 because again, that's not real life. Like, I have stuff that happens, that comes up, that's not always positive. And if I'm being completely honest and transparent, that's just me just keeping it real. But that's what I would like to do. But we shall see how things go. Plus, I feel like most of you guys tend to resonate more with the life side of the content that I have been producing, with the Gang Stalker series and stuff like that. I noticed that there's a very big outpouring for stuff like that. Which, I still have been encountering stuff like that. But like I said, I'm trying to just figure out how I want to present stuff like that. So, it's not so overbearing, because again, it's just like with anything, you talk about it so much, it's like you're kind of beating it with a dead horse, or beating a dead horse. There we go. And it's like, I don't want to just be regurgitating that stuff all the time, because, what we fixate on is what remains. And that's why, for me, it's like, yeah, I might recognize that I'm a person that's, in the TI community, but doesn't mean I have to let it become my whole life. And that's definitely not my end game or my goal. And I am working on some things to try to get, something rectified, but we'll see how that goes. And if I'm successful, I'll definitely, update the community so that you all can maybe follow my template if, like I said, if it renders any successful results. But yeah, like I said, I just haven't been really like, what's the word I'm looking for? Not motivated, but hadn't been inspired. There we go. I haven't been inspired with any particular messages. But I definitely did just want to pop in and show face and just let you guys know, like, I'm still here, and I'm still thinking about you guys. And like I said, I hope that things are going well for everyone. And for those who sincerely, just want to listen in ear, just know that I'm here. You can always email me if you want to correspond that way, at least for now. I'm still trying to figure out how to structure a more streamlined platform that can protect, everyone's privacy, as well as like if you don't necessarily want to like talk on the phone or do a face Zoom or whatever, like I'm still looking at all the different options that I have to be able to provide more of a direct connection with me that, like I said, doesn't compromise me and my, personal information and stuff like that. And also you all as the viewers, because especially for those who consider themselves to be in the TI community, I understand that, that's a big concern. And unfortunately, being in that position, it kind of makes it hard to want to trust anyone. And I hope by me showing up here, sharing the things I've shared with you guys with my life and my story, I'm hoping, you see that I'm not a bot, I'm a real person, and that the things that I've endured or enduring is very real. But at the end of the day, we got to get on with life. Like it is what it is. I will say that I've been inspired, or not inspired. See, I just said I wasn't inspired, and then I said I'm inspired. I should say encouraged. Excuse me. I've been encouraged by some recent information that I and and also like some shows and some movies that I've seen that kind of tap into a little bit of what I feel like I'm where I feel like I'm stuck right now in my life. And I was hoping to be able to kind of share some of those shows and stuff like that with you guys to see if you all have either had like a chance to watch them. Like for example, the what's it called? The Madness on Netflix. If you guys have Netflix, I found that to be a really awesome, like little short mini series with what's his name? Shoot, Coleman Domingo. I might, yeah, I think I'm saying it right. Coleman Domingo is the lead, and he did it really well in the role. But I won't spoil it for you guys. But if you get a chance, check that mini series out for those who specifically belong to the TI community, because I feel like you definitely will be able to relate to some of the stuff that he was going through. And then, also, I'm still reading the Children of the Matrix book by David Icke. I think I knocked out like 3 chapters today. Because again, that's another thing. I've been falling off of my readings because I've been reading so many different books all at once. And it's like, I know I can only truly focus on one at a time, but they all have been just so good. And so essentially it's like I have been doing like a chapter. I was trying to do a chapter a day, but then, like I said, I kind of fell off from it because I was reading my other book, which is more so talking about Akashic Records and learning more about that type of stuff, getting into Egyptology, learning about the god Anubis. Because I don't know, I just been feeling really drawn to stuff like that. But yeah, like I like to be able to show you guys more sides of myself. I just, for the most part, have been leery about sharing certain things because I'm just not sure where everyone is. But I guess I'm just at a point where I'm just gonna just put it out there, and those who like it and resonate and like it, and those who don't. Like it's really that simple. Because sometimes, people don't know that they like things until they're introduced to it. So if no one else has introduced you guys to that sort of stuff, then I hope to be someone that can bring you into the esoteric side of things. And I know like David Icke's books or whatever, I think people consider him a conspiracy theorist, but honestly, in today's times, as things are unraveling in front of our eyes, is it really conspiracy? Like, is it? Because there's been so many conspiracies and conspiracists who've been proven correct, like over the last few years, and even to current. So I'm the type of person like, hey, I will read pretty much anything. I will be willing to learn pretty much anything to grasp a further understanding of the information. I won't necessarily rule anything out per se, but I just pride myself on having an open mind about things. And I feel like that's pretty much the key to a lot of the things that are out there. You just have to be open-minded to it. If you have a closed mind about it, or you think, oh, that's evil, that's the devil, this is it, then you're probably going to remain where you are. But I feel like the way things are going right now, like people need to broaden their horizons. People need to be willing to dabble a little bit in other knowledge, other hidden knowledge or secrets and things that they may not have either been aware of or that they were too scared to approach. I'm kind of speaking from personal experience on that because, like I said, when I did belong to the religion of Christianity, I, pretty much was not raised in the church, but I pretty much was around churchgoers all my life as a little girl. And, being taught that, oh, this is a sin, that's a sin, da 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 da. Don't question, don't just. And so, that was ingrained in me, but I had to break free. Excuse me, I had to break free of a lot of those things that I had been taught, because it didn't apply. Like I'm the type of person that if I start connecting the dots for myself and certain things don't add up, then I have to throw it out. If it doesn't work, I throw it out. So from a spiritualist kind of standpoint, like I in other or of a higher power, doesn't necessarily mean I believe it in the sense that it was presented most people through religion, because I recognize that God that oftentimes that people seek is looking right back at them in the mirror. But that's I feel like I'm trying to get too far into that, but I definitely would be open to, like I said, doing some more deep dives on stuff like that. If I get the right type of community of individuals who want to learn more, you want to, talk more about stuff like that, I am definitely open. Like I said, you can email me at this point, until I can figure out some other arrangements. But I think I pretty much, got out the message for today, or at least what I could get out. Sorry, it's not a official video this week, but I feel like something's better than nothing. And that's just how it is sometimes, like I said, this is me still showing up, not just for me in this point, but for you guys too. But thank you. If you joined the live, thank you for coming in and listening to me. And again, if you need me on a like serious personal level, you need someone to just chat to, you can email me. But yeah, until next time, see you.